Welcome to AVR Coding 101 Lesson 6. In this lesson, we'll be covering the EEPROM, which is permanent storage on the AC1's ATtiny1616 chip. We'll be looking at the signature data, which is permanent data provided from the manufacturer, as well as the fuses, which are configuration of the chip itself. By the time we've gotten through this lesson, you will have been able to read and write to the EEPROM using the pymcuprog program, the utility that we actually use for programming the AC1. We will also be able to read and write bytes to the EEPROM using code, reading the signature bytes, both from the programmer and from code. And then finally, we'll be interacting with fuses. Fuses are readable from code, but not modified in code. To do the modification, you have to use the programmer. Why would we want to use EEPROM? Well, EEPROM is persistent even when the battery is removed from your device. The ATtiny has 256 bytes of EEPROM, so anything you'd want persist, you'd want to have in EEPROM. The first exercise we want to do is we want to access the EEPROM on our AC1 using our pymcuprog utility. So we're going to read from the EEPROM using our UART interface. The devices are ATtiny1616. The port is in PlatformIO.ini on your particular machine. We're using a baud rate of 115.2, and let's just read 8 bytes to get started. Copy the string for reading, and let's open up a terminal. So this is the PlatformIO terminal. It's the little block with a caret in it. So we open that up over on this side. Let's go ahead and paste that command in. Edit the port to be whatever the port is for your environment. A quick tip, if using the programmer and you're doing a read or write operation and you receive an error message back, in this example, unexpected number of bytes, it may be because you still have your serial window open. So you cannot have your monitor open while you're using the programmer. Easiest solution is you can just simply close all of the various windows on that side, then restart the terminal, and then you can execute your command and it will complete successfully. Let's go ahead and execute that. It's connected to the device, and it has read the first 8 bytes of our EEPROM. So in my example, the first byte, byte 0, would be FF. Our second byte is 41, FF, FFF. Yours will probably be slightly different. Mine is 41 because I've already run through this exercise a few times. So that is reading using the pymcuprog programmer that we have here. So I've already gone ahead and set that second byte to be 41 hex, or the value 65. So now if I want to write, it's very much the same command. It's write to the EEPROM using UART again. I need to specify that I want to write at a given location. So I want to output 1 byte. If I wanted to write into the very first byte, that would be 0. The very second byte is 1. Third byte is 2, etc. And then the value that I want to write in there. So let's go, instead of doing a read, we're going to be doing a write. I want to do an output. I want to do it at the second byte, and I want to give it a value of 41. But since I already have 41 in mind, I'm going to use 42 as my example. And it has done the update. Now if I were to go back and repeat my read, I can now see that that second byte is 42 and not 41. So I've been able to successfully read and write to the EEPROM using the pymcuprog. Now if we want to do that from code, the EEPROM memory location, we have an EEPROM start value. So to read, we can simply cast that as a pointer, and then our offset is however many bytes in that we want to read, and we'll read 1 byte at a time from our EEPROM. The write process, so the first step, much like when we were doing a transmit-only UART operation, we're going to check the status to see if it's busy. Once it's no longer busy, we can then load that value in. The EEPROM is protected. Similar to when we wanted to change the prescaler on the CPU, we need to unlock the memory location before we can write it. Once that's unlocked, we can then do a page erase write operation, which will clear that byte from the EEPROM and then set the new byte all in one step. So for convenience, we know where the EEPROM start is. We know the EEPROM size. Both of those values come from the microcontroller header file. For convenience, we've created a macro so that we know where the max value is. To get a byte from EEPROM, we simply locate that memory location and copy the value out. We don't have to do anything else. However, to set a value, we need to first make sure that the EEPROM is not busy. Then we can set the value and then we unlock and do a page erase write. Now it says page, but the EEPROM is paged at 1 byte at a time. We initially get the value stored in a local variable. Anytime button 1 is pressed, we increment the value and write it back out again. So each time we press that button, we're going to be updating the byte in the EEPROM. Let's go ahead and update the code. Program our ACK1. If I press the button, I press it once. Now if I go back and read again, it's now 43. If I press the button again and read again, it's now 44. So each time I press the button, I've taken the value, incremented it, and written it back out to the EEPROM. Next in this lesson, we want to look at the signature row. The signature row contains a number of data. Each chip is going to be different in regard to what data is stored in its signature row. A piece that's very useful to have is every ATtiny1616 chip, every AVR chip, has a unique serial number. And it's a sequence of bytes, and they're stored within the signature. We can access the signature row both through the programmer and through code. So let's take a look at how we would do that using pymcu. For where we were reading from EEPROM, now we're reading from signatures. The rest of the information is the same, the number of bytes we're going to read. So let's take a look at reading the first 3 bytes, which is going to identify that the chip is an ATtiny1616. Then if we read the next sequence of bytes, we will get the actual serial number of the ATtiny1616. We're no longer reading from EEPROM, we're reading from signatures. And initially we want to read just 3 bytes. This will be the device identifier for our ATtiny1616. And there it is, 1E9421. Now if we were to read the next sequence of bytes, so we skip the first 3 and we read 10 bytes, now we'll be reading the individual serial number of our ACK1. So the ACK1 that I currently have connected here is 305443, etc., etc. No 2 chips will have this exact same sequence. Just as before when we were reading EEPROM, we can read this information in code. So the sig row is just a memory location we have access to. We can read directly from that memory location. Since we're not trying to write to it, we don't have to worry about the fact that it's protected. So we create a pointer to the start of the row, and then we can read through all the different bytes. Now, serial number 0 is the memory location of the first digit of our serial number, and we know our serial number is 10 digits long, so we simply have a loop here that will read 1 byte at a time, convert it to appropriate hex syntax, and then we're using our little TX-only version of UART to output that to our screen. Let's go ahead and compile and upload our code. Now make sure that we switch from program to serial on the ACK1, and now when we press the first button, we should see our serial number come out, and there it is. So that is the serial number of this particular ATtiny1616. Now before we go away, let's switch back to program mode so that we'll have that when we need it. The last bit is fuses. Fuses cannot be written from code. Always you'll be interacting with fuses directly from the programmer. You don't want to change a fuse without knowing what you're changing it to. Here's a quick look at what the fuses are. Probably the most interesting has to do with the EEPROM, but let's start by reading. In this case, we're reading from fuses. Let's go and start our new terminal. Issue our command. This time we're going to be reading from fuses, and let's read all the fuses. We don't need to specify a value. We have read our fuses, so 00, 00, 02, FF, etc. Let's go look at the data sheet for what these refer to. So that's our watchdog timer again, brownout detection, our oscillator setting, TCD, system config 0 and 1, append bootloader, etc. If we look at a specific fuse, in this case, let's look at the system configuration fuse. System config 0, one of the bits is whether or not the EEPROM persists over programming. So if you were to program, by default, every time you flash the ACK1, so the ATtiny1616 gets programmed, it clears the EEPROM. You may not want that. You may want the EEPROM to persist between programming steps, in which case we need to set that EESave needs to be set to 1. System configuration is one of the fuses to be careful about because it also controls the programming pin. This is a case where we want to change the fuse, but we want to be very careful about changing the fuse. Easy way to do this is to first read the fuse. Bring up a quick calculator here. So we have a hex value of F7, which gives us a binary value. Top 4 bits are set. last 3 bits are set. One thing to note on fuses, unused fields need to be set to 1. So we know that we have the first high 4 bits are 1. This tells us that our CRC is 1 and 1, which is 3, which means we have no CRC. And our last 3 bits are 1, 1, 1, so we have a 0, 1, 1, 1 at the end. This corresponds to 0, 1, UDPI is set. This one has to be 1 because it's not being used. And on my particular AC1, EESave is already changed to 1. So on mine, the EEPROM is not erased under chip erase. By default, it would be 0. A safety measure when you're going to be modifying a fuse is to first read the specific fuse you want to change, then compute which bits you're going to change to know what the new value is, and then write that back out. So let's go ahead and read just the 1 byte that we're interested in here. It's the 5th position. We want to read just that 1 fuse. Let's go ahead and do that. So it is F6, mathematically, F6 would be the first 4 bits are on, and then 0, 1, 1, 0 at the end. So let's take a look at the data sheet. Any unused bits within a fuse need to be set to 1. So 1, 1, 1, 1 says our CRC is 1, 1, which is 3, so we have no CRC. And then at the bottom, we have 0, 1, 1, 0. That says that our reset pin is configured for UDPI, and our EEPROM is not currently being saved. So we want to set that. So we want to set that 1 bit. So if we go back to this, we want to set that 1 bit. So F6 becomes F7, and we want to write that 1 fuse. So the fuse at position 5, we're now setting to F7. It's been written. Let's go back and reread that 1 byte. It is F7, and so we now have set EEPROM to save, so it will persist across flashing. So we've gone through this exercise of reading 1 byte from the fuses, specifically the sysconfig 0. We've changed it from F6 to F7, so now anytime we reflash the ATtiny1616 on our AC1, the EEPROM will persist across those. This concludes Lesson 6 of AVR Coding 101 and concludes the AVR Coding 101 series. We have gone through and read the EEPROM using our programmer, as well as read and write using code. We've read the signature with the programmer and with code, and then we've used the programmer to read and update a fuse.